did I get a chance to go back and revisit the Godzilla against MechaGodzilla film?
Yes, I did. I watched it like the other day.
Bro, that film is like super awesome. You forget how awesome those movies are.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance this week to see it, or since last time, 'cause it's been kind of a busy week. But I saw it not too long ago, and I really love that one. So I shouldn't have a problem recollecting that one.
There shouldn't be any dislikes.
No.
No dislike. This is episode 5 of the Godzilla Nerds. I'm one of the hosts, Donald, joined by the other host,
Nick.
Serge.
And we're doing this for you, Remy. We miss you, brother. We miss you. He's out there having fun, so his presence will be missed.
Or really is that him right there?
Oh, Remy! I was just shouting you out, man.
Made it.
How you doing, bro?
My bad, y'all.
Everybody was late, well, except for Serge. Oh man, we were just saying how you was gonna be missed, Remy. Well, welcome.
Yeah, I just heard that. I was like, probably talking about me.
It's recorded, so
Sorry
it's
about that.
nothing bad. You can always do
with the
it.
family, and my phone was inside. My bad.
You're good.
Oh yeah, you good, man. It's all good over here. We just getting ready to talk about Godzilla against MechaGodzilla. Serge, I'll start off with you. The first question is, what were you able to pull from this particular film, Godzilla against MechaGodzilla?
I feel like it, by that time, by the Millennium series, we were used to, MechaGodzilla, mechanized versions of kaiju, Mecha King Ghidorah. But I think, even though I guess you could say Mecha King Ghidorah was very similar to Kiryu in this regard, but just the fact that it was something just very special about it being the first Godzilla in mechanical clothing going against the current Godzilla. Man, I just thought that was like, wow, like, man, who thought that up? And then the original one being in there was just such a cool idea. It's almost like they took the mechanized kaiju thing and they made it original again. By adding Godzilla into it. And so I always just remember thinking, wow, like this is it's a little deeper than some of the other ones just because it's essentially Godzilla versus Godzilla. And of course, I mean, it's not like we know their thoughts or anything like that, with the exception of Kiryu a little bit, just because you see when he goes berserk and he starts remembering things and sees things.
Right.
But I thought that was very cool with the Millennium series, just because the Millennium series is not my favorite series, but this movie is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, this movie rocks.
So,
yeah.
So I think it hits on a bunch of different things. And that's because there's a good story going on around it too. But I thought the story of these two Godzillas was just pretty. Wow, that was a great idea.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, and that's why I'm glad that we do this, because I get a chance to go back and rewatch some of the movies that I forgot about. And this was one of the ones I was like, I'm gonna pick this one because I remember watching this one when I was a bit younger. And I think, to me, this is one of the best Millennium movies. Like you said, like, it is one of the best. And I would recommend this to a lot of Godzilla fans who wants to go back and watch some of his movies. I would definitely recommend this one. Nick, what were you able to pull from this particular film, Godzilla against MechaGodzilla?
Pretty much everything. Going to it. Like Serge said, when MechaGodzilla was running berserk because Godzilla let out a certain type of roar that jolted the memory of the skeleton that was built inside. And when you take a look, they built MechaGodzilla using every point of the original Godzilla's DNA. There was no mechanized anything inside the head of that one. It was just all outside skeleton metal. Inside was the heart and soul of the original one that caused destruction. And when Godzilla let out that roar, boom, memory came back and said, "Let me run Berserk again," until he had an hour left and shut down. But I see that the soul of the original Godzilla was there when he ran Berserk. We saw that this Godzilla was, our, day and age monster from 2004 or 2002, and he was pretty strong. He took a lot of hits.
Heck
This
yeah.
this man took maybe, I want to say, 250 missiles or more, and just rubbed them off like nothing. He took laser beams and just ate it. And when the lightning hit his dorsal fins, and while he was roaring, oh, fantastic!
Yeah, that was awesome. That was an awesome shot, man. When that
Yeah.
lightning hit them dorsal plates, that was awesome. That was. Remy, I'm gonna bring you in on here. What were you able to pull from this particular film, Godzilla against MechaGodzilla?
I would say, I'll pull from this. I think I agree with a lot of people is that this is like one of the first, like this is one of the only Godzilla movies where we only have Godzilla and MechaGodzilla in it. Because like think about it, we had King Caesar in the first one, then we had Titanosaurus in the next one, and then Rodan and Little Godzilla and MechaGodzilla 2. So this is like kind of our first Godzilla movie where it's just the two of them going at it. And plus, it's an interesting storyline. Like they have the original Godzilla skeleton be the main blueprint for Kiryu. That's a cool idea in itself. And plus, this is probably one of my favorite Godzilla designs like ever. I just really love the design of Godzilla. Like it's probably like one of like my top 5, I would say. Because like this is something about it that like offers so much character. The same thing with Kiryu. He's like probably my favorite MechaGodzilla design because these designs, in my opinion, like have so much character in them. Like it's hard to explain, but they just like have because they're just like drenched in like personality when you look at them on screen.
Right, exactly. And I agree with you too about that. That this Godzilla design is pretty tough. I actually made a video on YouTube about my favorite Godzilla designs, and I do have that one in my top 5. And the Kiryu is pretty awesome too. When you go back and look at the first mech, and then you look at Kiryu, I'm like, bro, he looks so menacing, man. Like it's almost scary. And also piggyback off what you're saying about the plot, Remy. I want to bring it back to you, Serge. How did this plot differ from the other Godzilla versus MechaGodzilla films?
How did it differ? Well, there was actually okay. So I mean, there was a human story in the other ones, but there was a real human story in this one. People who are trying to figure themselves out. People that are growing like throughout the movie. They didn't really have that in the first one. The first one is from Showa, and then also MechaGodzilla. Those are essentially kind of like I always call it like Bond 007 kind of action kind of stuff. There's really no character development. They're just getting something done and getting some action in there. The same thing with MechaGodzilla 2. Maybe a little bit more story there, kind of, just because it's connected to Baby. But in this one, there's actually a character story arc. And then we have 2. We got I always forget her name. The chick, the pilot. And then we also have there you go, right there, for you, Donald. And there's actually a cool story to follow, and a personal story to follow. 2 of them, intertwined with an already killer story of a live Godzilla versus a ghost MechaGodzilla.
Right. Heck yeah.
So we got a couple of pretty sweet stories, and we usually don't really get that. The stories are usually a little bit loose. Don't focus too much on them. So it felt like wow. Almost kind of like one of my favorite stories is storyline is Godzilla versus Biollante. So when I was watching this one, I thought, oh, this is a good story. There's actually cool stuff that you want to see, not happen, but development go through the movie towards the end also. So that I mean, that's what I think about that. I just think it's well done stories altogether that really um, don't really mess each other up. You know, they do coincide obviously, but they don't distract from each other, and that's what I think is great about this movie.
And man, I don't know if y'all realize how much good insight that y'all give. Serge, could you say something really interesting? Like, there's really no character development, but you can tell because they were all trying to do like one thing. They were basically doing one mission. So if you don't really watch it or pay attention to it, you'll miss it. And that's something that I saw. It really wasn't. I mean, you know who the main character was, the pilot, but you know, it was really no real character develop as far as the others. Like you said, they were just trying to do one mission. Nick, I'll bring it to you. How did this plot differ from the other Godzilla versus MechaGodzilla films?
Well, like Serge said, um, it had a good amount of plotting. It had the human one, it had MechaGodzilla's one, and it had Godzilla's one. You
Mhm.
know, Akane, the pilot, she, they think she's a horrible person because of what happened to their major who died after getting stomped out by Godzilla. And then I didn't mean to say it like that, but she kind of did. And then you had, when they brought in all the scientists and said, you know, and showed them the Godzilla skeleton and how they want to make it a weapon. And then look, they became and had Kyu. And when they built that absolute zero for Kyu, fantastic weapon. Wasn't expecting that, but it was a good
Mhm.
weapon. Hoping they could use it to, freeze Godzilla. I don't think anything was going to beat him because this guy looked more indestructible than any other one.
Yeah,
Uh, his both body structures to Kyu and Godzilla, their body structures were a lot different from the other ones. Like the Godzilla versus MechaGodzilla 2, you know, uh, both of them were bottom heavy. Not quoting to what we were texting earlier. They were
They
very
were,
yeah.
they were,
bottom
yeah,
heavy.
they were chunky.
They were chunky
They were thick.
bottom wise and skinny top wise, but uh, you know, everything had its differences, but it fit perfectly for this type of story.
Right. And I think as well, Nick, you touched on something that you said about the pilot. When the major got just completely stepped on by Godzilla. I don't know if people really pay attention to it, but the beginning of this film starts off amazing. Like we get Godzilla right off the bat. If you look at Godzilla versus Kong, they waste no time showing Godzilla either. Like he's already on his rampage, to Pensacola. So I thought that was awesome, to see how this Millennium Godzilla look. He's already causing havoc. So I think that's one thing I would give this movie credit for. It had a ton of action in it. Remy, bring this to you. How did this plot differ from the other Godzilla versus MechaGodzilla films?
I think I have to agree with both Serge and Nick. To me, this one I think had like more human element to it compared to the other two. Like compared to the other two, it was more like plot driven and more kaiju, I guess, focused. You could say action heavy. Well, on this one, it felt like more like it gave you all the kaiju action, but at the same time, it also gave you that little cherry on top of all the human like drama and development that was going on, mainly with what's her name again? I forgot.
On
What
it.
was called her fine? What was called her fine main character?
Yeah.
Main character.
Yeah, there you go, Remy. Yeah, boy.
What was called? Oh God.
I see it. Well, you like
There
that?
we go. There we go. All right. We'll call her that. That's her nickname now. Fine main character.
We can call
Yeah,
it
but
Chun
all the
Li.
development. What happened?
Chun Li.
Oh. All right, sure. But all the development that happened with her, I thought was really good. Like, it's a pretty deep storyline. Basically, the thing that her life is basically worthless for a Godzilla movie. Like, sure, you have like some pretty serious, what's the word I'm looking for? Like storylines in different Godzilla movies. But
Mm-hmm.
like, this is probably one of the first ones I felt most human to me. Because like I know a lot of people struggle with like trying to figure out if their life does mean anything, and It does, and I feel like at the end of this movie, she does figure out that her life does mean something. She does have a purpose. So I felt like that was good writing on the story part.
Okay, but that's like I said, I mean, I agree with all of y'all. Y'all give great insight. Like I said, having that main character, like I said, you knew who the main character was. And then you had the other characters that played their role, that knew exactly, what to do. They knew what their mission, they knew what their job was. It's almost like, you playing on a football or basketball team, a soccer team or whatever. You have the star player, but that star player know that he's got other players that play their role and that they can rely on. So that's kind of what they did, which I thought was cool, awesome development for this film. The next question is a short question, but I think it's going to be a good question with some good answers. I'm going to bring it to you this time, Nick. Favorite fight scene in this film and why? Uh-oh. It was a lot of action.
I think the opening one. No. The very last one where, Godzilla was approaching the hospital and Kiyu came flying in and just shoulder tackled him. that fight.
Such a good moment.
Because we got to see so many weapons that Kiyu had. All the rockets, the sword coming out from the side of his hand, and the electricity coming from it. You had his masers, you had the Absolute Zero, and you got to see some hand-to-hand combat skills. Like, none of the other MechaGodzillas really had hand-to-hand combat skills. Kiyu had some serious hand-to-hand combat skills. He drill flipped them and everything. I was like,
And makes it even worse. It make it even worse. He had a little height on Godzilla too. He was taller.
Yeah.
So that made him even more dangerous. I will say this though. I mean, that was a great fight. I mean, Godzilla did take a lot. I mean, he took a lot, and Kiryu did too. Like they were like going at it. It's almost like pay-per-view. I'm like, I find myself 1 minute cheering for Kiryu, then I find myself 1 minute cheering for Godzilla. But in the end, I got to go with Godzilla because he's the man. So, but that's how good that movie was. I was like, and my kids enjoyed it. My oldest son, he loved it. He was like, let's watch it again. And I'm like, all right, I'll watch it again until I fell asleep. And he was still up in my bed. I'm like, look, bro, it's time for you to get out of my bed. I said, watch it up front. But man, it was awesome. It was awesome. I agree with you, Nick. That was a good answer. Serge, coming to you. Favorite fight scene in this film and why?
The first time that they meet and Kiryu goes berserk. Just because I hadn't seen it before, so my first time seeing it, it was unexpected. So it caught me by surprise, and yeah, I just thought it was really cool. Yeah. Although I will say, yeah, the Nick though, that fight you were talking about, man, like a lot of crazy fighting in that movie between Godzilla and Kiryu. And I think in regards to the fight, okay, well, I'll say that first fight where Kiryu goes berserk, that was my favorite. But to add to that, I think this is probably the only Godzilla movie where I had a hard time debating which side am I on. I don't know. At the same time, Kiryu is also Godzilla. He's in there, so so that's what I think makes the fighting in this movie extra, just special and just wild. Because for me, I didn't know which one I was going for. I don't really want Kiryu to best Godzilla, but at the same time, I don't know that I want Godzilla to best Kiryu. But
great minds think alike, Serge. Great minds think alike, brother. Remy, favorite fight scene in this film and why?
It'd have to be hands down the final battle between Godzilla and Kiryu. Like, I remember watching that fight the first time, and when Kiryu launched his rocket booster at Godzilla, and he was like, "All right, let's go."
Yep.
Beating him, I was like, "Oh, okay." oh, ground and pound. Oh, we're getting some ground and pound now. Let's go. Get him. Like, this is probably one of the first movies I feel like where I'm actually kind of rooting against Godzilla. I'm like, yes, Kiryu, get him. I mean, I'm still like Godzilla fan, but at the same time, Kiryu just has like that badass good guy persona to him that I just want Kiryu to take him down. I'm like, yes, get him, knock him down.
Right. See, great minds think alike. So I wasn't the only one. 1 minute I was going for Kiryu, 1 minute I was going for Godzilla. So
I think it was good for Kiryu most of the time.
Oh no!
Yeah, so did I.
You know what? It's because for the first time, a mecha has personality. Somehow, Kiryu has personality. Even just the way he looks has personality.
Man, that look that he had was so awesome. And if you go back and look, my two favorite shots in this movie, the first one is when Godzilla is walking away, and the pilot is kind of just standing off while he's walking away towards the end of the film. And then the second one is when Kiryu is just standing there. Like, it was awesome. It was like almost, I don't know if it was daytime, but like the sun was setting when he was just standing still. I was like, oh my gosh, like that shot was awesome. That was my favorite shot in that movie. Like, after he just got done going berserk, he just kind of shut down. I was like, you don't get a better shot than that. So with that being said, Remy, I'm coming to you. What is your favorite shot in this film?
Damn it, that's hard. There's a lot of good shots in this movie, though. Like, there's a lot of good shots where I just like, oh, I want that on my computer. I want that on my phone. Probably my favorite shot would have to be. Oh, you know what? I know what my favorite shot is. My favorite shot is going to be when Godzilla like first approaches the city, and he like shoots his atomic breath and just like annihilates all those jets. And you just see him like walking all pissed off, and you just see like the jet like fall right next to him and just explode on the bottom. Because he looks so evil.
Yeah, he did.
I love how he looks so menacing in that one shot. Like, it's beautiful.
I always said the more menacing Godzilla looks, the better. The more menacing he looks, the better. Nick, I'm coming to you. Favorite shot in this film, Godzilla against MechaGodzilla.
I'm gonna go with what you said. The one where he was rising out the water and just stood still, staring at Godzilla walking away, and when he was powering down. Those were the two best shots. They were incredible. Like, you can't get any more perfect scenery than that.
Yeah, they were awesome. The scenery, I'm big on scenery too. Like how the shots look, the scenery has to be everything. Serge, what is your favorite shot in Godzilla against MechaGodzilla?
I'm gonna go with you guys, man. That shot, that ending shot was just killer. I love that shot with the sunset or whatever it is. I think it was a sunset. Also because it reminded me of, I know this movie partially has some roots and some influence from the anime from the 90s, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and that's one of my favorite animes. I'm not a big anime person, but I remember watching that when I was a kid, and then I think I had read about this movie before actually seeing it, and then hearing that there was some influence of Neon Genesis Evangelion in it, and so on those scenes, I see it. You know, I
killer shot, man.
Yeah, and I just love that scene in particular. The ones that you're talking about, those were awesome. Another reason why I really like the movie was because of the influence. Because I remember the Neon Genesis story, and I thought, hey, this sounds kind of familiar. Awesome.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, but man, those shots were killer. You know what? Just because we're talking about it now, I gotta go find it and I gotta post it on Instagram now. I might make it my screensaver now.
There you
go. Going back watching Godzilla movies, that's what it does to you. I have to ask this question. Coming to you, Serge. Where do you rank Kiryu as far as your all-time MechaGodzilla design?
Oh, easy. Number one. Yeah.
Oh, number one. Yeah.
as much as I love Showa, Alien
Right. Mhm.
MechaGodzilla, especially being the first one that I ever saw when I was very, very young, and watching it all the time, like I did, getting ready for elementary school in the morning. Um, Man, this one, Kiryu just he's more than a mecha. That's the thing. He's more than a mecha. He's part mecha. He's part kaiju. Part Godzilla. So not just because of his design, which I just think is the coolest looking one,
Mhm.
but also who he actually is, because he actually is still part creature, as opposed to the other ones, minus Mecha King Ghidorah, because the others, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, and the original ones in the Showa, they're just machines. But this was different, and it was Godzilla, and partially because of that, my number one. But also the design is just so. I mean, you can't forget that design. So number one.
It's, yeah, that design is sick. That's my number one. Nick, I'm coming to you. Where do you rank Kiryu as far as your all-time Mecha Godzilla design? Don't you do it, Nick.
I'm
Don't
going
you
with
do it,
Serge.
Nick.
It's number
Don't.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
number one because, like Serge said, it wasn't only a mecha monster. It had the bones of the original, and it had emotions, as you saw in the movie. There was a lot of emotions within that monster. So this one's my number one.
And I like that a lot of those Godzilla movies, whether it's the Shower or Heisei or Millennium Era, they always go back to the original Godzilla. Like they have some movies that always have to do with the original Godzilla, and I think that is so cool. Remy, I'm gonna bring it to you. Where do you rank Kiryu as far as your all-time Mecha Godzilla design?
Kira would probably be number 5.
Remy.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Remy.
I was about to
Oh.
say,
No, I'm
oh,
kidding.
what?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, number one. Number one with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, number one. Again, like what you guys are going off, like good, excellent points. He's like more than just machine. He's like a cyborg, basically. He has some living tissue inside of him. Just design wise, like he has so much character in his design, especially his face. The face in particular, I think, is where most of his character comes from. Like when you see his eyes, when I look at the other Mechagodzilla eyes, all I see is just like a machine, a lifeless kind of like object. When I look at Kiryu's eyes, I feel like there's like something inside of it, like a soul. Like I feel like he's actually fighting for humanity on purpose, not because he's programmed to, but I feel like he's doing it because he feels like it's something that it's right, or maybe he just has another chance at redemption for himself, I would say. But like Kiryu's like number one for me, and I feel like he always will. Like it's gonna be hard for them to top Kiryu's design.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was killer. Like I said, killer from the eyes, everything. That design was killer. Now I gotta ask this question, Nick. I'm gonna start with you. Where do you rank this Godzilla design all time on your list? This was a killer design. I know for sure it's in my top five. I'll say that.
It's in my top five. I would put it, hands down. This day and age Godzilla, this one
Yeah,
that just came out is number one. His design's crazy.
yeah.
Him, I would actually put below number two. I would put him number two
Yes, Nick, man, you think just alike, bro. We on the road today.
because his design was very, very good. Because in Tokyo SOS, they kept the same design but showed his battle wound right here in his chest where
Yep.
it was blown up. So I thought it was pretty good. They kept the same design in two different movies, and you didn't see any bulge in his neck like Serge said with the other one.
Oh,
They got it right. They got it
Come
right.
on.
They got it perfectly
Don't
right.
diss my boy GMK like that. Come on.
all
Do we
right,
have to
Nick.
go over what he did to Baragon again, bro? Come on.
Yeah,
No.
probably.
Oh,
Here we go
oh
again.
my. Barry got run over, bro. Remy, I'm sorry, Remy. Where do you rate this Godzilla design all time?
I would rate him probably at number 4, right above the Godzilla's design from what was it? Godzilla's design from 1973 all the way up to 1975. That's my
Nick,
top
watch
5.
him. Watch him, Nick.
No, but like this Godzilla design, like it's one of my favorites because I just love how his eyes are always, like you can tell like his most of his emotions come from his eyes. Like my favorite part is when they like do the animatronic close up of Godzilla, like especially in Godzilla Tokyo SOS, where like Mothra comes in at him and you just see him kind of go like this, like squinting at her and like raising his brow at her, and then like he just roars at her. Like especially for this film, like there's a lot of scenes where Godzilla's like eyes like squint and you just see how pissed off he is. Like I just love that about this design. And plus, I love the dorsal spikes to him. Like it's got to be one of my favorite dorsal spike designs for Godzilla. I love how they're just huge.
This Godzilla design time on your
Okay, so and I've already said it before that the Millennium series is not my favorite. It is not. It's more towards the bottom. Partially because you know I'm a little older. I was watching Showa and Heisei
design. I mean, killer weapons, and this Godzilla was strong. I mean, he was just taking everything. Like they were brawling in this movie. I mean, just based off the action alone, and seeing them for a really long time in this movie, I give it a 4.5 as well. What about you, Nick? Out of 5 stars, how many stars would you give this film?
Just like you guys, a 4.5. They didn't.
Nick, man, you gelling today, brother. Man, you on the road today, man.
Like you said, they didn't rush it. They didn't, they really didn't make any mess ups in it. It's really good. They didn't rush showing Godzilla. They didn't rush showing Kiryu. They did it perfect timing. They weren't shoving it down our throats.
Remy, don't you ruin this. Don't you dare ruin this. Out of 5 stars, how many stars would you give this particular film?
I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm messing around. I'm messing around. Nah, I'm gonna
this
stay
guy.
Nah, I'd probably give it. I think I'm gonna have to go with this, man. I think I'm gonna probably give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, Remy.
Yeah, like to me, there's just like so many good positives in this movie. The fighting, the action scenes. I mean, the characters, the kaiju themselves, the soundtrack. We didn't mention that. The score in this movie. The score is phenomenal. The music in this movie is fantastic. Like, oh my god, it's like Godzilla's theme in this movie is like one of my favorite themes of his that they've composed for him. Like, it's great. Yeah, like the CGI too. The CGI is not that bad either for 2002 from Japan. The CGI is actually pretty. It's not terrible. Like, it's not fantastic, but it's not terrible either. Like, to me, like again, this is like probably one of my top 15, top 10 Godzilla movies. Like, I just really like it.
For me, it's definitely it can fight for a top 10 spot for sure. Godzilla got so many movies, and then when you go back and watch them, like, dang, this one's good. Okay, this one's good. This one's good. This one's not that good, but this one's good. This one's good. I'm like, he's got so many that. I mean, then you got to count the legendary movies. So,
it's so hard.
I love it though. I love it because I can sit and I can enjoy his films. Those who are watching this was episode 5 of the GodzillaNerds Podcast. Today we talked about Godzilla against MechaGodzilla. We on every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. The episodes will be available to watch every Friday without any technical difficulties. It'll be up Saturday or Sunday. But Remy, I think it's your turn to pick the next movie, I believe. Is it the Serge or Nick?
I thought I picked it.
It's my turn.
Oh, it's Nick's turn?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so Nick.
I was about to say, I was like,
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking what the next movie is gonna be.
Oh, Nick.
Nick, you should pick a movie that is like a bad Godzilla movie this time. Like, we need the legend.
I can tell you what Remy's thinking about, but I'll let Remy decide. I don't know next time.
Yep. But yeah, decide, Nick.
Man.
You decide which one you think would be best.
Nick, I'm counting on you, brother. I'm counting on you, brother.
Counting on you.
Nick, man, you gelling lately, man. Me and Nick on it today.
You beer it, bro.
Yeah, I think I got one in my head. I'm gonna think it over, and I'll say it tomorrow in the chat.
All
All right, man. Hey, man, y'all have a wonderful night, man. This is the Godzilla Nerds. Everybody, peace out.
Peace.
All right. Later, guys.